One of the more interesting aspects of gang stalking and little spoken about is that the more you call police on gang stalkers, the more you upload information on gang stalking on your social media, the more the abuse elevates. I could have really gone after my ex-wife and my ex-mother-in-law for defamation of character. I could have really gone after my ex-wife for making me pay child support on a child that I don't believe is mine for 18 years. $550 each and every month. I could still take that person into court over this and get a huge settlement. I could take in the grandmother still over the allegations she made bearing false witness against me, against me with her daughter's co-workers. My ex-wife is a police officer, and making allegations to detectives about me with absolutely no rationale, no rhyme, no reason, no proof, no rationale, nothing. And I could get the grandmother on defamation of character, as I could the ex-wife, and I could also get all the money I paid each and every month for 20 years on my son. I could get that back. I could get defamation. I could get so many things. But usually, as you know, we that are subscribed to the Lord and His ways don't like to deal in these very, very earthly matters. We like to store up our treasure in heaven. I mean, here I rent a room and I can barely get by. We don't want to take the A, B, C steps to get others to live in poverty in order to pay us. We even want our abusers to live well. But if we're out there holding people accountable by taking them to court, we could cause them to live in poverty and we could live well. And for those of you that have the inclination, I suggest you go for it, because these people need to be held accountable. And the people that are smearing your good name and dragging your good name through the mud, they deserve to be taken in front of a judge and to be held accountable for defamation of character. That being said, it's just not in me. I could do these things. I could go after my ex-mother-in-law for making heinous, terrible allegations that have followed me for 25 years. And that may have led to this gang stalking. I could take my ex-wife to court for lying and saying that this child is yours when I know he isn't. And I could get back tens of thousands of dollars paid back to me from this person that took vows to be faithful to me. for the rest of my life. I was not even faithful for a few months after taking those allegations. But would more money really serve me well? Would taking more money out of them serve them well? I don't know. But all I know is that I look towards the afterlife for recompense. I look towards the Lord for revenge. I look towards my reward being in the afterlife. So there's so many things that these individuals do that they're not fully thinking through. All they seem to really think through is, I'm going to get you. I'm going to make you pay. I'm going to make you hurt. I'm going to put you in a world of pain. I'm going to make you suffer. When they don't really always think through all of the ramifications that could double back on them. And it's frustrating because I almost wish I was the kind of person that loved to settle the score, loved to spend times in courtrooms, loved to document everything, to build a case, to take it to the courtroom and present it in front of a judge. The Bible tells us, be very afraid of going in front of a judge. Because they can decide whatever they want as being fair. And it could greatly come crashing down on you and on your shoulders. So the Bible tells us to avoid going in front of judges, which I greatly appreciate, and it's just in my nature to follow that. But at the same time, if I was one of these worldly secular people that desire recompense and wanted to very closely monitor, or I should say, record every single transgression in order to possibly someday build a case, and I kept all these records very neatly kept in drawers, I could be one of their worst nightmares. But once again, I'm not willing to ruin my peace. I know the reward for everything is coming in the afterlife. And it's just not something. I want to spend my time worshiping the Lord, reading scripture, praying, taking nice outings in Mother Nature, treating my dog to trips to the dog park. I want to treat my time while I'm alive on this earth as time to be appreciated, time to do things that makes my dog happy, puts a bit of joy in my soul, connects me to the Lord. Preparing for and going to a courtroom does none of these things. But there are people out there that believe in the Lord, that do want to level the playing field, equal the score, and that are more prone to go into courtrooms. And I applaud them. I commend them. I just know my own nature. And I know that it's not something that I want to pursue. Now, granted, when I had $3,900 in medical bills for 2 broken fingers, and the rehab to get them working again. I pursued that because the hospital is demanding this amount of money of me. I had to put it on credit cards, and I want to get out of debt. And so it made sense to at least go through the bare minimum to get this individual to pay for my medical bills. But it wasn't on giving me a vacation. It wasn't on allowing me to buy a new car. It wasn't I should have been able to take this guy for enough money to live happily without any worries for 2 or 3 years. I mean, taking vacations, trips all over the country. That would have been fair. Because of the amount of psychological abuse, the amount of physical pain I went through, the amount of a number of different things. But I know life has its ups and downs. And just because this guy caused me like 2 years of pain and discord and getting kicked out of apartments and having to move with one hand. Do you know how hard it was to be able to move into a storage unit and then from a storage unit into an apartment with one working hand? And every day moving boxes, having these pins with these big yellow plastic balls on the outside of the pin on these 2 fingers. And when I would go to pick up boxes, sometimes I would hit that pin and the amount of pain it would cause. Every bit of pain I went through could have been compensated if I had the right lawyer and I went through the right procedures. But the courts didn't even call it a felony. Here this guy violently and viciously attacked me, biting me, scratching me, breaking fingers, nonstop with no reason at all. And they didn't even want to acknowledge that it was him being violent and vicious against me while all I focused on was calling 911. They didn't even want to acknowledge that, much less that he caused all of this physical pain, psychological torment, years of recovery. A misdemeanor for attacking someone violently and viciously and trying to attack them for 3 months leading up to it. And me begging management to move me out of this facility, this apartment, because he's trying to attack me. And he's assaulting my dog. And them laughing in my face. All coming to a tumultuous day when he attacked me. And then the same people, the management that denied me being able to be safe and to move away from him, then accusing me, saying for sure 100% he was the assaulter, he was the perpetrator, he was the cause of this, telling that to the police over and over and over. Make it make sense. It doesn't make any sense. And so for a lot of people, it would serve them very well to go through those procedures in the courtroom. Not me. I'll get my justice in the afterlife. But the Old Testament always stipulates these earthly problems and how they should be solved. So God is not unaware of these earthly problems and what is fair, and compensation should be given to the one that's treated unjustly. But I don't want to go through those procedures. I don't want to deal with judges and lawyers. To me, the whole system is rancid. The whole system is set up to protect the ones they see as wealthy and to vilify those that they see as poor and needy. Because in their mind, the poor and the needy are always going to steal from the rich. And so I don't really even fit in very well with saying, I'm poor, but this poor person abused me, so I need recompense. They're going to say, well, you're poor and you're seeking recompense from another poor person. No, we don't do that. If you're rich and this poor person broke in and stole things, okay, then we'd help you. But you're poor and you're accusing this other poor person of doing heinous things against you. So we'd rather just call it a squash, let's just call it equal. I just started hearing some of the small voices they pipe into my room. Man. So for about a week, I haven't posted videos on this. I haven't talked about it. I haven't thought about it. And the amount of break-ins has decreased. And I haven't been going to any churches up here, so now I'm posting this video, and right away when I'm even just making it, I start hearing these voices getting piped in. And someone said, these voices that you hear piped in, anytime you think about them, you can hear them. Go out in Mother Nature, go to a park, and think about these voices, and you'll hear them. And he's wrong. Because it's not MK Ultra, it's not voice to skull. It's just little sounds that they repeat, the exact same sounds 1,000 times. And they pipe in through my air vents or however they pipe them into me. But they're not from my skull. They're not. And I can only hear them when I'm at home. It's at night. It's usually between the hours of 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Once I go to sleep, I don't hear them anymore. Even though I wake up every night in the middle of the night and I'm wide awake for 2 hours or so. Don't hear them. They're not there. It's only when 6 to 10 p.m. when I'm making dinner, watching some videos, wanting to get involved in some scripture, some prayer. That's when it happens. Every night when I'm at home. Never once have I heard any of these voices outside of my apartment. Never once have I heard any of these noises in my apartment other than those 6 to 10 p.m. pretty much. So to me, there's nothing about this voice to skull. There's nothing about MK Ultra. It is just a very, very simplistic tactic of piping in voices. So my video is getting kind of long. I just want to say that it's nothing. It's just some people's attempt to cause you to question your own sanity and to cause you to become so discombobulated, overwhelmed, that you start to kind of throw in the towel and think that life sucks. And if life sucks, God's permitting this, so God sucks, And I'm not going to go down that road either, These are human beings exercising their free will. It has nothing to do with God. And, most of these people don't believe in God. Most of these people are not trying to be holy. Most of these people are steeped in their ways, very earthly, sinful, secular ways, and they're given an assignment. That's all it comes down to. And if they do what they're asked to do, they get gift cards, to Target, Starbucks, wherever. And that's all it comes down to, is just their monthly subsistence on how to get by. And abusing you allows them to get by. That's all it is. Because if you're completely secular, what more does it really come down to than to just getting by every month? Having enough money, being able to go out and spend some money, and being able to enjoy the things that the world has to offer. That's all that matters to these individuals. Whereas you're on a higher plane, so neither the two shall meet. It's they're down here, you're up here, and never is there going to be a meeting of minds. God bless you. Leave a message, hit like. I'll talk to you later.